Good afternoon, Rotarians, guests. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Toledo. Before I begin, actually, someone left a set of keys at the buffet table. So if it's yours, I'm going to put them right here. Looks like single car key and a fob. At this time now, I'd like to ask Father Ron Olszewski to come to the podium to deliver a reflection for us, as well as lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
God of all, as we bow our heads to you in prayer today, we thank you for all the blessings you have showered upon us, individually, our families, our businesses, our friendships, our Rotary Club. As Rotarians, we commit ourselves to service above self. Strengthen us to be faithful to that commitment. And as we do our strategic planning today, help us to seek the truth, be fair to all concerned, build goodwill and friendships, and act always in such a way that our deeds will be beneficial to all concerned. May we share generously with others the bountiful blessings you have given to each of us. And remembering what happened over this past weekend, we pray for peace. We pray for an end to violence throughout the world, and especially in our own nation. And to this prayer we say, Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Father. As we begin our meeting today, I wanted to thank and acknowledge Sunshine Communities as this month's sponsor and Rotarian Cindy Kerr. Thank you for your support. Does anyone have any guests they would like to introduce this afternoon? Please come forward, bring your guests to the floor mic, and speak clearly, introduce them so everyone can hear.
Scott, is this on? Testing. Okay. My good friend Chris Amato from the Historic South Initiative is my guest today.
All right, welcome, Chris.
No, you just wave. He'd give us speech.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. I bring with me today the new general manager at the Toledo Club, Michael Lyman.
Nice. Welcome, Michael.
Looking forward to seeing you all as new members soon.
Hello, fellow Rotarians. I'd like to introduce Josh Dressel with Midwest Recovery Center.
Thanks.
Thank you for having me.
I'd like to introduce Matthew Ward. He is with Keep It Simple House. Thank you.
Excellent.
Pleasure to be here.
Hello, President-elect now, is that right?
Right.
Yes.
Straight,
This is Shane Logan, who's a member of Rotaract, one of our founding members of the Toledo Rotaract Club.
Fantastic. Thank you. Also, I would just point out today, too, welcome to our new district governor, Tim Ryan, who's in the room. Of course, he's not a guest. He's a member of our club. But good to see you, Tim. Good to see you. All right, welcome, everyone, and thank you for attending. What we want to do today is kind of get right to the program and get started because we kind of have some work to do today, which I think will be great. I want to introduce Jason Daniels to everyone. He's leading us in revamping our strategic plan. Before I go through his introduction, however, I did want to acknowledge the members of the strategic plan committee for Toledo Rotary. Could you stand up, please, and be recognized if you're a member of the strategic plan committee? I know there's a few in the room. There we go. There's Tom. Obviously, like everyone else, these folks are dedicating their time to make our club a better place. So it's been really helpful and fantastic. So now today I'm happy to welcome Jason Daniels. Jason is a strategist, speaker, contributing journalist Former radio personality and author of the book Get Off the Gerbil Wheel, A Remarkable Way to Stop Running and Going Nowhere in Life. He currently serves as president and CEO of J. Ramon LLC, a consulting group focused on collaborating with corporate, civic, social sector, and nonprofit organizations, providing strategic solutions to help build leadership effectiveness, scale impact, grow local and national partnerships, and advance philanthropic effectiveness. Throughout his impressive 11-year United Way career, Jason worked in executive roles in Toledo and Cleveland, Ohio until 2016, where he served on various statewide and national task forces with national and global organizations, including United Way Worldwide. During his time, he contributed his experience in areas such as community impact, strategy and innovation, strategic partnerships, human capital, volunteer engagement, diversity and inclusion, and government relations. He was selected to participate in a month-long visit to 26 cities in India through Rotary International, actually. So he was teaching philanthropy and leadership development in that program. With over 20 years' experience conducting workshops, seminars, and keynote presentations, Jason has developed a keen sense of how best to develop people and help motivate organizations. He graduated from the University of Toledo with a Bachelor of Arts and Sciences degree in communication. He and his wife, Kelly, have been working with us, the Rotary Board, as well as the Strategic Planning Committee, to revise and reinvigorate our strategic plans. So today, he is here to engage you, the greater membership, and in that effort. So please welcome Jason Daniels.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Well, thank you all. Much appreciate the wonderful introduction. Introductions are always interesting because sometimes you're like, why didn't I update that bio, or why did I put that in there? You're like, who wrote that? But thank you. I also want to say, so what do I need to do to get this up? You all are the best. Thank you so much. Do I have control from up here? Okay, thank you. All right. There we go. Okay. So first of all, thank yous. You can't come into someone else's home. Typically, if the first time I'm at your house, I'd bring a gift because that's what my grandmother taught me, right? You bring a gift. So I'm your gift today, though, just so you know. I am your gift. And but I do want to also say thank you. Thank you so much to Kevin, and thank you to Scott, and thank you to Jackie, and all the members of the Strategic Planning Committee. You all have been absolutely wonderful. There are a number of current and past clients in this room. So this statement that I'm about to make, you are included in this statement. But you know, sometimes as a consultant, it's like herding cats when you need people to do things like fill out a survey or call you back, right? It's like, you said you wanted us to engage and do this work, and then sometimes the work gets so crazy they sometimes want to avoid you nicely. No one in this room, though. But I would tell you, the Strategic Planning Group has been really, really good. You've made this process, I think, easy for yourselves, but also easy for my wife Kelly and I as well in the process. So a silent, because all of you are eating, but a silent hand clap for all of the Strategic Planning members who raised their hands to lead and to be a part of the work. Thank you to this wonderful district who back in 2008, it was 2007, I was working for United Way of Greater Toledo. And I remember my boss came into my office and he was really excited. And he said, hey, Jason, at the time I was traveling a lot, but I was also a young executive. And my boss would come in the room often. He'd say, Jason, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. And so I learned early, you just do what your boss wants you to do. And he came in and he says, Jason, I have the best thing I need you to go to Indiana. And I said, oh, okay. And I'm thinking, well, I go everywhere, so it's no big deal. And he says, I need you to fill out all this information when I send it to you so that you can go. So he literally skips out of the room and he's all excited. So I start getting this packet of information to fill out, and it's from Rotary. And I'm just following through. I'm just answering the questions that it's asking me. And I started, all the questions got really deep about, have I traveled internationally, and how would I contribute? How do I want to contribute to society? And I'm thinking, my God, this is a lot of questions to go next door to Indiana. And so about a month goes by, and he comes back into my office, and he says, get your passport ready, buddy. You're going to India. And I said, what? He goes, yeah, for a whole month. And don't worry about being paid or anything like that. I was engaged at the time. And I'm like, wait. I thought you said I was going to Indiana. And he says, no, you're going to India. And so Steve Day was my group study exchange leader. And many of you know Steve Day. What a wonderful heart he had for Rotary and also for the community. He was my fearless leader. And we went to about 26 different cities, traveling for almost 30 days throughout India, landed in Hyderabad, left out of Mumbai, and all in between. I would tell you my experience was incredible. It was awesome. And so thank you for what you all do for not only your Rotaract groups, but for folks like me who I'd only been to Africa when I was in college. And so that was my second international trip. And so I'm really thankful that it's in my heart. I had my Rotary tie, but no one wears ties anymore. But I have my Rotary tie that I could have worn today, my international flag tie, and also my handkerchief. So thank you so much for that. And thank you for all of you who continue to show up. Like Scott was saying, the work that we get the opportunity to do through our business, I spent 11 years working in the nonprofit sector. Before that, I was actually a secretary. I worked for the city of Toledo. And I like to tell everybody, treat your secretaries and your maintenance people and the people that run security very well, because they can make your life a living you know what if you don't. And so I was a secretary. I worked for two mayors. I worked for Finkbeiner initially and then worked for Jack Ford, who was at the time my wife's mentor, but she was just a friend of mine at the time. And over the years, I spent 3.5 years there. And then prior to that, my first job out of college was working for Owens Corning. And I worked in the strategy area. And I worked under Meg Resner was the operations manager, and Lisa Keller was my direct boss. So I spent a year there, 3 years at the city, and then this wonderful career working for United Way, where I worked not only with nonprofit organizations, but my responsibility was really helping large metropolitan organizations find traction and build success and help to increase not only their community impact, but also their fundraising mechanism. And since 2016, because we were living in Westlake, I was like, you know what, we need babysitters. My daughter was 4 at the time. So we decided to bet on ourselves. And this community has been wonderful. Bob LeClaire and a few others said, you come back and you meet with the then 22nd Century Committee. And I did. I said, I don't want any handouts. I said, but I do want to know what's the best way to navigate this community and to be a successful entrepreneur. And as you all know, they say a lot of entrepreneurs today, if you can last 3 or 4 years, you're lucky. And so we've been doing this now for almost 8 years, my wife and I, full time, and I'm really thankful for this community. And we have clients not only here, but we have clients in other states around the country as well. So really thankful to this community. I'm born and raised here. This is my wonderful family. This is us, I think, one Easter getting Starbucks. And if you follow me on Facebook, you know how much I love, Julia knows how much I love Starbucks. Love Starbucks. And so we're always there, always spreading the love. Kelly is also the chief operating officer, or she just bosses me around all day and tells me what to do. But she's a phenomenal leader and speaker and advocate for women and children, and the eradication of human trafficking is her big thing. There was a picture that I don't have up here that shows her waving, and it's her personality. She is a light, she is a joy, but she's fierce. And before the Ukraine that we know today, she spent time going back and forth, literally going in and freeing women from human trafficking. And so that's the kind of woman that she is. She's a phenomenal partner in this work. But again, she is my boss. And this is our chief creative officer. Don't let that smile fool you. She made sure that you had pins. She put all of the things together. She's amazing with social media. So all of the stuff that's in the box that we'll get to in just a second, she prepared, and she wanted me to let you know. She said, put my picture up and let them know that I work for J. Rahman as well. So she's done her work. There are ground rules that should apply in every meeting, every successful meeting. And as what I like to call a masterful facilitator, I believe meetings should start on time, and I believe they should end on time. And the way they end on time is that they end early. So my job is to make sure that I get you out of here early. But one thing that's important with ground rules is the reason we set them is we don't want things to get out of hand. And so I have what I've created, a meeting declaration of rights. You don't need to read all of these, but what is most important is that we have respected voice. It's really critical that all of you today have the opportunity to be heard, That is critical. We have a lot of really good stuff on our website regarding workplace listening. We work with companies specifically in the area of listening to their employees, listening to their stakeholders and their board members. We've been doing this for years, and I'd probably say that's probably the one thing that we're really known for in terms of running not only productive meetings, but really being strategic in how we listen, both to community as well as to our clients in the workplace. Respected voice is really important. As people share today, let's not judge each other's statements. Let everybody's statement be their statement about Rotary or what you think could happen. This is going to be a fun, I think, an engaging and relaxing time. This last one is important, and I read it out loud as well. We need to exercise decorum. And that means that you have the right to exercise all of the meeting rights that you see up here without the fear of bullying, rudeness, verbal aggression, or degrading comments. This is a safe space. And most of us have been to Vegas. And we know that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? So, if somebody says something and you don't disagree, that's okay. We're all adults, right? And we're all professionals. So let's make sure that we govern ourselves accordingly. Things happen from time to time. Things go out. Look, I've got my computer. They've got the backup. And guess what? I like to do things statically, which means I don't have a bunch of bells and whistles today. We don't have a lot of time for me to sing and dance for you. If something goes down, I have paper. Remember that? Paper. So we'll have paper as well as a backup, but we don't have these pretty screens to get us going. The one thing I want you to remember as we move throughout our time today is that done is better than perfect. We're not trying to be excellent today. We're trying to get it done. And so I know I have a very short period of time with you to engage you. And once this chicken starts to wear off, you're going to be out of here. So what that means is as we move through our time today, it's important that we remember we're not looking for perfection here. We're just looking to get it done. You all, some of you probably in the room, out of the 300 individuals who are members of Rotary Club of Toledo, as of probably Friday, I was sharing with Mark Urrutia, the survey is still open, just so you know. We never close our surveys. And so even though it was due weeks ago, about every 2 days, 2 or 3 of you will answer the survey. And that's good. Keep answering the survey. That's fine. We probably won't finalize a lot of this until the next month, coming to the conclusion of the actual strategic plan that you'll be able to see and hopefully we'll be able to present to you. But you should know that a third of you answered the survey. That number is probably around 110, 111 today. But that's really good because I've looked at some of your previous surveys that you've done and the engagement was not as high. The more people, especially if you have not answered the survey, the more of you who answered the survey, Mark can attest to it, it was quick, it was fast. We don't ask you 5 questions in one question. It was one question, easy for you to answer with 2 questions at the end that were open-ended for you to provide additional comments. And so you should know that since we've been working with you all, aside from the survey, here's some of the other things that we've done or that we've looked at as a part of your strategic plan. We've looked at your past surveys. I think we've gone back probably the last 2 strategic plans. We've hosted listening sessions with all of the members of the strategic planning group. We've also had stakeholder listening sessions, and what that means is you have partners or sponsors or organizations that you funded in the past, and since we have a relationship with them, we just reached out to them and we talked to them about Rotary and what their thoughts were about the partnership or the would-be partnership. We even talked to a few people who applied for funding in the past and did not get it. And they were still very appreciative of the opportunity to have worked with you. They talked about how you all were professional in sending them communications along the way. And that's what we want to hear. That's really good. We did community partner listening sessions. We have a few more to go. A lot of this is confidential because we just reached out to them and said, we know you have a relationship. We know that you sponsored them in the past. We'd love to kind of ask you a few questions about Rotary. And all of the feedback so far that we heard is really good. The executive director and the foundation chair, we also did listening sessions with them. The foundation, as you know, is integral to you all's work, so we've had conversations there. In terms of the organizational review, we've looked at operations documents, feedback data. We've looked at more information than you would probably like, and that's why we're doing it for you. And so we've done a really good assessment. And so what we've done is we took so far the information that you see here, that data, especially the survey data, the more recent data, and we took the information from those listening sessions as well. And we compiled them into what we are seeing so far are 3 strategic themes. Now, many of you are used to seeing, probably the Rotary International came out with a lot of supportive strategic planning documents. And those documents, there's 4 bubbles. And there's 4 different sort of themes or strategy areas that Rotary International is focusing on. For you, we like to be concise. And so there's 3 right now that are, that when we look at the data, that are saying that's important for you, that's resonating. One is enhancing community visibility and membership for you all. The other is increasing community and regional impact. I added that word region because in the conversations that we've had, so many of you have talked about, yes, you have other Rotary clubs that are right in the greater Toledo area, but there's a pride and an ownership with you all that we heard a lot of conversation about. There are things that are happening outside of Toledo, but that impact the region. Sometimes further, maybe it's homegrown here, but it's impacting individuals and families all throughout the area. And so I added that word region because that's starting to bubble up a lot more. So increasing community and regional impact. And then, of course, strengthening member engagement. I think, of course, that's really important. What we did is we then broke down, just so you can see visually, many of you in those open-ended questions, you provided a lot of feedback. And while that feedback is confidential, what we did is we said, how can we put this into simple terms, at least for you today, for you to have some, not only information, but also some feedback to help you in your table discussions. And so under enhancing community visibility and membership, it is increase Rotary Club of Toledo appeal, wanting to make sure that you all are relevant. There are lots of conversations around making sure that the next generation of leaders, your Rotaract group and others, that you are appealing to them, but also the opportunity that there are people who've never been a part of Rotary that you've probably tried to get in the room, and it's like, what's missing there in terms of the appeal? What is it that you can offer? And so many of you talked about Rotary is the place where professionals can come in and be a part, and it's like a one-stop shop. You can do everything here. You can volunteer, you can engage, you can make an impact in the community. So that was important. Build awareness of your impact. So I wrote the word brag because I tell a lot of organizations when we're working on the marketing side with companies sometimes, they have a tremendous story, but they don't tell that story. Sometimes we can also get really comfortable in the fact that we are who we are and we want to be selfless in our giving back to community, and we don't want to brag. I put that word there because I think you have a different generations of people who are coming up and in the workplace. And part of that appeal is we have to talk to them in a language that is important to them. And so the reason I put brag there is because I think there's a number of stories around a lot of the great work that you've done in community, but we got to find a way to professionally talk about it and to talk about it in a way where it resonates with especially up and coming young professionals to be a part of this wonderful work that you all are doing. And then, of course, grow your membership. In the area of increased community and regional impact, we put it in the buckets of enhanced community partnerships, developing regional awareness of opportunities to engage with Rotary, and then I put non-member opportunities. I know that you all do a lot of work and in community, but when I talked before in the other slide about bragging, people need to know one way people come into this work is volunteerism. That's probably the best way to do it. And so how can you elevate what you're doing and not just tell you all, tell yourselves, we need you to sign up or be a part of the volunteer committee or volunteer for this work, but how do you tell others to do it? Years ago, I spent some time with Edelman, and anybody in the room who, especially on the corporate side, you know they do a lot of global work in the area, specifically of communications and working with diverse audiences, especially multiple generations. And I will tell you that it is really important when you think about it. This generation that's coming up, I think they're Generation Alpha. You know, I kind of fell off after the millennials. I think it's Generation Alpha. You have to find a way to appeal to that group, because the one thing Edelman told me that I've never forgot, and I keep looking at Harvard Business Review and Edelman statistics, is that anybody who's under the age of 30, the number one thing they want to do is they don't want to show up somewhere alone. They want to show up and they want to bring people with them. So this one-on-one approach that sometimes we can take, especially in my generation, I'll be 50, well, no, I won't be 50, hold on. I'll be 49 in August. But you know, for me, I like to do things one-on-one, right? I feel like I get more done that way. The generations under us, you've got to make it appealing for them to bring 5 or 6 people at a time. That's the way they want to show up. And if you get 5 or 6 or 7 of them, they could probably fill up half of this room to at least come and be a part of a lunch. And so we have to make sure that we're paying attention to that. The one thing loud and clear that we've heard is you all want to collaborate. You don't want to recreate the wheel in terms of your work, but you want to work with anchor institutions who are already doing really good work in the community. The work that you all were doing in the area of the water issue that you all had gotten involved in a while ago, it kind of fell off of what I'm hearing. But water is still important to our region. You ask any of our elected officials, and we don't want to have what happened to us years ago in terms of the water and the algae crisis. But there are other projects that are happening in the community or things that we can forecast, even in your workplaces, you might be working on. You can see 5, 6, 17 years from now, this is going to be an issue. Part of our discussion will be about that, but loud and clear, you all said, let's not recreate the wheel. Who else is doing work in our community that we can join in, that we can support and still make a tremendous impact? Lastly, strengthening member involvement. So there's lots of things here, right? Be the go-to choice for community leaders being involved. Offering robust opportunities, volunteer and social. It's important to do both. People want to give and they want to drink. They want to give and they want to drink. That's important. Offer diverse volunteer opportunities, right? And that diverse volunteer opportunities is some people were saying, I feel like we keep doing the same type of thing all the time. Can we do something that's more exciting or more engaging? And so I think that's a wide open opportunity because there's so many organizations who need your help. Recognize and reward contributions. If my wife were here, this is the thing that she spent many years working and leading and guiding AmeriCorps teams. Her work in the area of volunteer engagement is tremendous nationally. And so rewarding and recognizing your contributions, I know as a volunteer, that's not something we often like. Donors want to see the letter, but they don't want you to get them a gift. But let's be honest, when we do great work, I saw your social media feed. I saw Dr. Shanda Gore holding her little sign about I brought the most people. Like, that's important to you all. But how do you recognize people or individuals who are part of this club who are also doing not only great work with you, but they're an extension of you, but also great work in the community as well? I see the highlight reels. I see that you're doing that. How can you do more of that? And how can you share that message beyond just with the Rotarians, but also in community and in partnership? And lastly, the mentorship work that probably needs a refresh or recalibration. Some people like it, some people don't. New members come in, they're supposed to have a person who's mentoring them, and then that relationship kind of drops off, right? Remember the secret ingredient, volunteer and drink. So I think it's important for part of that mentor experience, though, to be very honest, to be serious, is we need mentors who are going to stick with that person. And sometimes maybe you need to rotate that, or maybe we need 2 or 3 different types of people. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to sort of give you sort of a high-level overview of that. In terms of the sentiment statement, if we had to create one, it would really just be that the commitment to Rotary is strong, and, you all were saying you look forward to the strategic changes that are to come. The one thing I want to say is what gets measured gets done. What gets measured gets done. That means you can have a strategic plan and you can have the things that you say you want to do, but if you don't do them, then I don't know what's the point, right? So what gets measured gets done. I do think that it's really important that when the strategic plan is done, we'll do our best to work with the team to make sure that there are some areas that can be measured, but I think you should stick to it. In order for you to see your progress, you have to judge it. You have to take a hard look and say, we walked away from this particular opportunity or this objective, and it caused us to maybe not be as successful in a certain area. Many of the leaders in this room, most of you know, performance evaluations are important, but so often organizations create strategic plans and they don't follow them. I think with this one, I think the strategic planning group, I see heads nodding. I don't think that's going to be the case with this particular plan. I think we're working on 3 to 5 years, and so it's going to be really important to make sure that your feedback is heard. So let's get to what we're going to do today. So today it's important that we hear from you. So many of you are wondering, what's in those pretty little boxes? I can see some of the boxes have been moved. These people up here, the overachievers, Greg it's turned toward him and he's already read. So first of all, where are our scribes? Have all of the scribes or table leaders stand up for me? Because I think there's 9 of you. And there's more than 9 tables in this room. So I need one person at each table that does stay standing, to look at somebody with an evil eye and make them stand up and be your scribe or your table captain. It's a very easy job. But there has to be a table captain at every table. I think the back table, Kim, who's going to be the scribe? Okay. We need every table. Mike, who's doing it? Tracy? They're looking at each other like, not me, said the little red hen. Tracy's going to do it. Okay. Sam, is there someone at your table? He's pointing fingers. Oh, he sat down. Okay, great. I just want to make sure that Julia, is that Julia? Julia? Okay, great. So I want to make sure that every table has a scribe. Thank you so much. So here's what we're going to do. The scribe, take the little box, grab that little box. And the first thing I want you to do is I want you to look underneath your boxes and see if you have a winning ticket. Does your table have a winning ticket? Oh, Julia, stand up. Look at the bottom of your box. Do you have a ticket that says winner? Is that Yolanda? Look at the bottom of your box. I have to call them out. Look at the bottom of oh, wow, look, you won something. Great. Woo, come on down. Okay, so you two, come down. Somebody from your table. So here we go. This is what we're going to do. There may be an extra or two, and if their tables are willing to share, they can. Okay, so here's the deal. I want you table captains. You've stood. So your table captains are your facilitators, and they're your scribes. You're doing 2 jobs. I want you to reach in there. Everybody that's a table captain, there's a little yellow pad in there. There's pens in there. There's Post-it notes. The scribe, I want you to, as everyone is talking, I want you all to just take as many notes as possible. As many notes as possible. Notes that I have to be able to read, though. So as many notes as possible while you're having this conversation. The other thing is, for the Post-it notes, the little Post-it notes, some people at your table just want to listen, or I want you to, every time you have an idea or an answer to a question, I want you to write it down, and I want you to, Julia, show me your poster. Put it up. Yep, on that poster, the questions are there, right? At the bottom of your little basket is a 8.5 by 11 of that as well. So if you have trouble reading, you can look at it in 2 different sizes. But the big one is where the Post-it notes will go. So here's what we want to do. As you're having your conversation, I will move you along. Focus on question 1 first. If you don't want to talk and you just want to write your thoughts on a Post-it note, that's fine. 1 thought per Post-it note and add it to the corresponding column according to the question that's being asked. Okay? The other thing that can happen is, look, you're getting your stuff, right? She's holding it up. That's right. Those are all going to stay here. So when we're done, what should happen is there should be a scribe tablet left on the table. And those are name brand Post-it notes, so they're not going to fall off because I don't like to buy the cheap ones. So you will put everybody at the table. You can put your corresponding Post-it note or your thought under the column. So then at the end, there should just be lots of Post-it notes in the areas that you need, right? Okay, so that's that. All right. Candace Harrison is managing the virtual work. So there's people on that are virtual who are watching this, and she has the questions as well. She may put people in groups, depending on how many people are on. They may just have a general conversation, but everyone gets the opportunity to provide feedback, okay? And we're going to leave the Post-it notes here. Okay, so we've done that. So this is what this looks like, right? So what we're going to do first is, what is most important, or where I feel like we need some clarity, J. Rahman, where we need some clarity to help you in some of your areas is really in 2 areas. So the first question is, What local or regional initiatives or community challenges do you believe Rotary Club could help enhance or solve? Now, some of us like to talk more than others. So this is about sharing, okay? So facilitators, I want you to be paying attention. We don't want to tell long stories about what happened 20 years ago and 5 years ago. We want you to answer the question in 30 seconds or less and then move on to the next person, okay? So your first thing you need to do is we're going to answer this question. You can write your things on Post-it notes, you can put them on there, and the scribe, make sure that you are writing down the comments that you're hearing so that it's almost like we have it twofold, right? And then if you just want to sit there and you don't want to write on your Post-it note, that's fine too. That's why we have the scribe. Just make sure you get your comments out verbally. Okay, so here we go. There's a question on the floor, yes.
As you know, Rotary is an international organization, but you only want us to focus on local and regional.
I do. Yes, only local and regional. Local and regional. This is your club. This is your area. So, question number one. What local or regional initiatives or community challenges do you believe Rotary Club can help enhance or solve here in Toledo or in the region? So, I'm going to give you some time. I'm going to walk around. I might take pictures. But I want you to have this conversation and make sure you're writing. Put in comments, your individual comments. Hand them to the scribe. They can put them on the sheet as well, okay? Let's go ahead and get started. What local or regional initiatives or community challenges do you believe Rotary Club could help enhance or solve? right, so we've got question 1 down, we've got question 2 down, and so now we need to get to that last column. And people are like, there's no question in here. So here's what we're gonna do. In the last 4 minutes, I want your top of mind thoughts. Your scribe will be taking notes, and you can write something, whatever you want to write on your Post-it note, and put it in the last column. There's something called critical success factors. Critical success factors, and what that really means is, the question is, over the next 5 years, what needs to go right? What do you all need to do as a club in order to successfully execute the strategies in your strategic plan that haven't been developed yet? But what do you need to do as a Rotary Club over the next 5 years to be absolutely successful as a club, both with your strategies and all of the other work you're doing? So I know it's a high-level pie in the sky kind of question, but it's on purpose. What needs to go right? What is the critical thing that if you're gonna be successful, it has to be done? I want you to take the next 3 minutes. You don't even have to have conversations. Just shout it out to your scribe. They're gonna write it down and they're gonna put it in that other column. So take the next 3 minutes and do that. Critical success factor, what must go well?
It's 1 o'clock now, folks. I want to be respectful of people's time too. If you want to keep contributing to that document, please feel free. Also, just so you know, there are no committee meetings today, so Jason has graciously agreed to stick around for 15 minutes afterwards. So for those of you who do have questions for Jason, we can do a little bit of time, for that as well, for those who want to stick around. And otherwise, we really appreciate, obviously, all the work that you folks did today. This is going to be listened to, this is going to be digested, this will definitely contribute to the efforts that we've been doing. So thank you very much, and thank you to Jason for the time he spent today for this. You get nothing from me today, only Jason. Next week, I did want to tell you on July 22nd, we will have our very own Tim Ryan, the new district governor. He will come back and he'll join us for a meeting and tell us where he's going for this year with the district. And we'll be meeting here at the Glass City Center. So please join us then. And otherwise, like I said, if you want to stick around for questions, please feel free. Otherwise, thank you very much. We are adjourned. Oh, actually, yeah. I did also want to say that the Community Service Committee has placed on all the tables, service, and actually it was Max doing it this afternoon. I saw him doing it. Thanks, Max. Putting down the service opportunities, so you guys will see that there's a new one on there, which is, thank you, the Rotary Cleanup Crew, which I know could really use a little extra help. They've been doing a great job, but I know they could use some more contributions. So please take a look at those, scan those if you want more information. And with that, we're adjourned. Thank you. No keys? No, nobody's keys?